banned away, and WE going to be the ones to go towards the Olaf. This was a very big pick for Beishang last year. Now it's going to be about what is eStar's answer. I would expect an AD carry pickup here. And yeah, going with the Sett would be nice, is a good flex pick. Can play it, support, maybe Wei can play it in the jungle, hasn't picked it up this split yet. Can be played top lane, so a lot of versatility. I like the pick.
I like the takeaway here from WE, the adaptation to remove Wei's Olaf, and I am curious where Wei goes from here, because obviously the Jarvan's ban, that's his most played. Still got the Rek'Sai that we saw in, I think it was game number 1, but didn't really look so hot on that pick. It's Wink with the Varus once again.
I was just going to say, I wonder if he wants to step away from that Aphelios after it not working out, just sticking on the Varus. Wink, not really a Kalista player, has only played it twice this split, is a lot more of a Jiumeng champion, so you can pick up the Renekton here. Like you said, one of those nice Morgan champions. Go with the Kalista, and you're already all-inning on a very strong early game.
The Renekton will be locked in for Morgan here, and that means Wink might struggle a bit. Teacherma gets this Galio. This is a little bit more what we're used to seeing out of WE.
This is a standard WE comp. The thing I don't necessarily love about it is, sure, you have Renekton and Olaf who want to run in, but they don't actually have a very easy time of getting in there themselves, which doesn't set up Galio for those big ultimate plays. I'm sure Teacherma will run Predator, but that by itself, in my mind, is not reliable enough.
We also see Wei grabbing himself Lee Sin. He's played it 6 times across the regular split, and he looked pretty good on the pick as well. We'll see if the pressure of playoffs will make an impact on that, but I think he's going to step up to the plate here as we move into the bans now. Kalista taken away from Jiumeng.
Yeah, it is a good ban. The thing that disappoints me is there's so many supports. Actually, with WE banning this, if I'm eStar now, I think you even just let him have his misfortune, ban away the Leona or the Nautilus, and then you can feel fine taking the other one, and then WE have no reliable engage in their comp. None. Zero. It's all about Renekton or Olaf just running in, or again, the Galio using that Predator. So I'd feel very good in that position as eStar.
We'll see where WE go with this one in the end. We've seen Yuumi creeping back into the meta a little bit. Alongside Olaf, it is terrifying. Ooh. Misfortune banned away. Ezreal Yuumi, I mean, we are on a new patch, bear in mind, for the LPL, so maybe the drafts change slightly.
Jiumeng was a big Kai'Sa player, though. He's played 4 games on that champion. Some of them looked really good. Some of them looked really shaky. So, all about where you want to go for the side of WE. For ShiauC, though, I would expect him to pick up a support pick here. Maybe going with something like the Taric could be extremely good when you have so many melee champions that want to come into you. But no, they're just straight going for the Rumble.
They're going to wait for last before they go for that support lock-in for ShiauC. Taric's still available, and it's been untouched so far in this series. Jiumeng gets himself that Aphelios, and they're just going to go for the Nautilus for missing.
Actually makes sense why you wouldn't pick up the Taric. What you just said was the Yuumi pick. If you blind that Taric, is a very free Yuumi pick for the side of WE. So just wanted to say that, ooh, this time we're going to see most likely ShiauC on that Sett, which he has picked it up numerous times this split. And then you're also setting Xiaobai up on a champion he looked phenomenal on last game.
Yeah, Xiaobai looked amazing on the Ornn in game number 3 here. And we do see ShiauC on this Sett. As you rightly say, he's played it 4 times so far this split, and he looked pretty great on it as well. Missing going to be up against him on the Nautilus. And we see a mostly very similar composition. The Aphelios, Jiumeng hasn't been able to play a ton of during the split, but generally speaking, it has been banned in pretty much every series that we've seen. So it's not surprising that it's a lesser pick.
He has actually played it in this exact composition, though, with the Galio being that primary damage dealer. So WE have run this comp so many times before. It's about being first to those objective fights like the Dragon. We also saw them heavily dive topside one game when you do have the Renekton with the Galio. So we're going to see an action-packed early game this time around.
That's what I wanted to hear. And talk me through a little bit this Sett support that we have coming out from ShiauC, because it ain't a hook champion. He looked amazing on Thresh in game number 3, but it feels like Sett is a pretty dramatically different style of support.
So Sett at least is still a very proactive support in the sense that he wants to fight you, right? He's going to most likely take this Omni Stone, so he's going to have the Hextech Flash and the Nimbus Cloak. He's going to be able to constantly look for that engaged with the movement speed. You want to pair with your jungle. You have very strong level 1 coming out from your passive. It's all about getting in the face of the enemy, which is the ShiauC special.
It certainly is, and the thing is, there's also kind of the missing special as well. With a Nautilus, he's happy to go toe-to-toe, and Aphelios doesn't really have a weak part of the game. We'll see how that bot lane's going to pan out. There was a 2v2 kill in favor of Jiumeng and Missing earlier on in the series. Let's see if eStar can keep this momentum, though, as we move into Game 4. I love the guy at the bottom right of the eStar Xiao that's wearing his shades wrapped in a hoodie and I don't know what else, but great to see the fans coming out supporting their teams as we move through playoffs. Bear in mind, this is our first series of playoffs here, and eStar and WE matching pretty evenly, it has to be said. eStar doing a really good job to come back in this series, but I mean, WE, despite what our analysts said in the predictions, looking like a favorite so far this series.
You know, I'm not sure who those analysts were, but here on the cast desk, I don't pick sides, Munchables, and it's like a pretty close series. Yes, he does. He's going to favor that Aphelios pick on the side of WE, and, you know, I can't blame him. But early on, we once again have two comps that kind of do similar things in the sense they both want to find pressure around from mid lane and then translate that into dives on side lanes. Bot lane, you have very strong dive coming in from eStar with a Sett. Rumble as well going to have that equalizer. For WE, you can do the same thing on the reverse side of the map, or even just try to match that with your global ultimate from the Galio.
And I mean, let's take a moment and talk about that Galio pick specifically for Teacherma. I feel like I do this every game, talk about Teacherma for a bit, but the way that he plays is very much that kind of player that does demand attention. And on this Galio pick, it's not something that we really see in any other regions. How is it going to function here for the team?
Well, the interesting thing about Teacherma is he has constantly used it as one of the primary sources of engage. So we see him take that Predator. Sure, it's going to be very useful in the early stages getting into those side lanes, but later on he's going to be able to run forward, finding those picks and starting those fights, allowing people like Beishang and Morgan to get in as well.
Looks like ShiauC and Wink are going to force the level 2 early on, which means Missing and Jiumeng have to back away here.
And I'll be honest with you, Munchables. Honestly, not a big fan of this comp that WE keeps bringing out. But it keeps winning. In theory, I would think it just tries to run into the side of eStar. eStar have some good disengaged potential coming out from the Chains of Corruption, the Dragon's Rage from Way. You can always open up the Call of the Forge God, and then you can just whittle down their, I don't even want to say front line because Galio's not tanky, Olaf's not going to be tanky, Renekton's not tanky, and then in the extended fight, eStar should win. But that's not how we've seen it pan out ever.
And that's why I love watching eStar, because you know what? I'm not really about the hardcore analysis. I'm not about the black and white, this is how League of Legends should happen. I'm about the scrappy LPL style of, this is about who are the better players and who wins on the day. And WE, I think, exemplifies that entire style.
We're going to get some fighting right now.
We certainly are. Xiaobai has to use the Searing Charge. Flash for the follow-up. There's the stun. And it's Xiaobai that's taken down this game.
And guys, let's feel good for Morgan. This game, he gets to play some League of Legends, and we take those.
And he gets it on his Renekton, no less. This is one of his most influential picks, and one thing that we've consistently talked about throughout the season is Morgan and his usage of TP around the early dragons. First one is spawning in just over a minute, and anticipate a brawl.
Yep, and Way pathing through the mid lane, just making sure Cryin has that safety to push out, going to take the bot lane scuttle, and eStar bot lane feeling very safe to make this trade with their mid jungle hovering around bot.
Going to be trying to set this one up. You can see Way moving into the jungle of WE here, perhaps just trying to get some deep vision before the dragon spawns. But he is going to be spotted on a ward, and Scryer's Bloom is not going to notice it. So as Way moves towards this bottom side of the map, In fact, no, just going to drop another ward. I thought he was going to go for the Krugs, maybe make a play on the bot side.
Still very good ward coming out from Teacherma, so they've seen absolutely everything that Wei's doing, and now Beishang can path accordingly to that. Looks like he's going to go and check the Raptors, but nothing going to be there. Maybe, nope, I was going to say maybe just head up towards the Krugs and take those. Just going to come through mid, and you always have good gank setup with this W coming out from Galio, setting up all the damage from Beishang.
Beishang obviously was spotted as he goes through mid there, and will step over these wards that Wei has placed down all across his jungle. So really nicely done here by Wei, just to make sure that he knows what's going on. He's spotted though, has to drop a control ward just to make sure that he's good to clear away his Krugs in safety, but with him up on the top side of the map, spotted out, you got to expect Beishang to make a play for Dragon.
Yep, Beishang may be feeling confident to look for that, but going back to that last ward coming out from Wei, I like that they recognize that Morgan Push moved into his jungle and that his Krugs could be warded. Right now, W not feeling confident to go straight to Dragon, instead wanting to try and steal those wolves, but ShiauC's heading over.
ShiauC is moving over, but it's just to get the Scryer's Bloom for now, and missing is actually found ShiauC. They want to go for the brawl right here, rooted. The Blast Cone will get him over the wall, but ShiauC very low on HP, might have to go for a recall. And
now WE could look towards the Dragon if they want. ShiauC won't be here. It will be a numbers advantage. Morgan also still has the TP while Xiaobai doesn't. So WE in a great place to just take this objective.
Yeah, not to mention the mid lane was shoved in as well by Teacherma. He is level 6 on the Galio, so no matter what, so long as they're within kind of a quarter of the map, he'll be able to join a play. That missed the brush. That's a control ward just in the middle of the grass.
Well,
how embarrassing. In playoffs, no less.
It happens, but still, WE get the objectives. They get the first reset, so Jiumeng going to be able to pick up that BF sword, going to be very strong right now. And eStar's comp still wanting to find these early advantages. We talked about how, in theory, if eStar can kite out the initial engage properly, they should be able to just burn down this front line, literally with your equalizer coming out from Cryin.
Equalizer and a Bellows Breath. That's a lot of fire.
But still, Jiumeng will be a huge threat in the late game.
Beishang wants to make a play onto Wink here. Exhaust immediately and heal used. They're just going to get one undertow. They're not going to be able to follow up on the play. But you know what? Just walking into lane, you get 2 summoners. I think Beishang's going to be happy with that.
Beishang gonna feel good. He had to recall anyway, so not really losing much time investment, but now Wei gets to look towards his top side.
Herald gonna be spawning in 50 seconds, so can't go for that one just yet, and he will be spotted out by the Rift Scuttler. But as Wink had to go back to base, this is an opportunity for Jiumeng to get some damage down on the tower, but he's Aphelios, and he's got his crescendum, so he's able to just wail away on these turret plates.
I really hate seeing eStar get Aphelios, but it happens. Severum Crescendum is absolutely insane. Soon we are going to have the Rift Herald come up. eStar, WE, I'm sorry, going to push in the bot lane. They can move towards that objective first.
Morgan's in trouble here. Call of the Forge God. Will get the knock-up. Dominus comes through. Flash is not available right now. Knocked up time and time again. All of the CC. Healing comes through, though. Oh, and he dashes away. In comes Teacherma, trying to make it happen. Onto Wei. Stun comes out, and there's a kill. 1 for 1.
Yeah, so great job from eStar coming and fighting that initial kill, but Teacherma following up. Seems like a good time to remind everyone that this is 10.7.
Yep.
Galio did get a small buff to his ultimate, which now grants his the passive magic shield on his W to all of his allies in that radius of his ultimate for 5 seconds.
It kind of feels like what his ult used to be, right? Where it used to give the armor magic resist to all of the targets in the area. Now it gives a little bit of a magic shield, so
also
just a slight buff.
Like a very, 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 very junior version of what it used to be. Nowhere near the same, but still does feel like a nice, maybe quality of life change we could call it. But here we see them going for the pick. Don't actually have the damage. Slice and dices away. Wei has to flash in, which means he's overcommitted into the fight. And then easy for WE to trade one on the back end.
And Morgan's flash was so close to coming off a cooldown there as well. Had that been just, I think, 10 seconds later, he probably would have been able to get away after the slice and dice. But he is going to fall, most importantly. Teacherma was able to answer, gets himself a kill. Which, on this Galio, you know, the gold not going to be the most impactful thing in the world. It's much more about your positioning and if you can land the CC. But he's still going to be more than happy to get an extra kill, get a bit closer to the Proto Belt.
I was going to say, we can even just see in the mid lane that this is a very, again, this actually describes a lot of Teacherma's champions, but a very non-interactive laning phase coming out from both sides. You're both playing a lot more for the team fight or looking towards the side lane. Teacherma is the one that has the options to look for these mid lane kills if Beishang wants to come mid, but we don't typically see Beishang come mid for kills. We see Beishang come mid to help make sure Teacherma can get into a side lane.
Yeah. With the exclusion of when they get the Pantheon Echo combo that they so regularly run, then we definitely see him come mid for kills, sets up the parallel convergence, and you know, Teacherma obviously can just grab that free stun and set them up.
Also, Cryin just buying a blasting one first, wanting the raw stats just in case a fight breaks out, is going to delay, you know, a pseudo spike for a little bit, like a smaller spike you could have gotten if you had just bought the Haunting guys, or maybe even the Oblivion Orb if you felt that was necessary, from the fact that they have the Olaf, the Severn coming in from the Aphelios and wanting to go towards the Morello first, but point is, neither of those things happened. He bought a blasting wand.
He did go for the blasting wand in the end, and Wink, this time around, it's worth mentioning, is going for that on-hit Varus. It's not going to be the lethality that we saw in game number 3 of the series. So let's talk scaling for a second here, because obviously we've got Jiumeng on this Aphelios. Aphelios, pretty much good at all points in the game, it feels like a lot of the time. Wink, though, he'll scale exceptionally well on the Varus too.
Yeah, I favor eStar. Again, I feel like when it comes down to execution, for the side of eStar, it's going to be a lot easier to play out these team fights. You have the Ornn items coming in. You're going to be able to peel off the engage coming out from WE. It's really just going to be Teacherma running in or missing, hitting a dredge line.
This tower in the bottom side is already pretty low. It's on 2.5 plates. And Beishang still has that Rift Herald in his pocket. They could just go and force this bottom lane tower in a moment after they go for this dragon, which is being completely uncontested by eStar.
Yeah, very strange, though this is something we haven't seen teams do against this Galio composition. Every other team we saw play against it, OMG and EDG, ran head first into WE over and over again. WE got that big gold lead at 15 minutes, and they snowballed out of control.
That is 2 cannons in a row Teacherma has missed. Not good. Not good. It doesn't matter that much, but missing now. Gonna get onto Wink, gets the knockup, gets the root, and in comes Galio, in comes Olaf. Wink, you're done for. Now, Haymaker across the team from ShiauC. Xiaobai is teleported in as well. The bot lane tower did go down. Root from Graviton from a very long way away. The Herald will be removed eventually, but WE finding more and more. They're getting ahead in the early game.
Munchables, are they finding more and more? Or, you know, I'm just confused. eStar give up the dragon, say, okay, we're going to wait, we're going to play for the scaling game, and then try to go for a pick. But, of course, Teacherma easily able to follow up with his ultimate, leaves Wink in a very, very awkward position, and they're the ones that end up getting more kills. This is what I just praised eStars for not doing not even 30 seconds ago. Yeah,
and, you know, it's rough, and ultimately, the target of the pick was missing.
Yeah.
He's on Nautilus. He's like, oh, you want to focus me? That's great. Thank you so much. That's exactly what I want too.
Didn't even have to burn the stopwatch.
I mean, he's got Aftershock. He had a Galio flying in from above, so I don't know. He's more than happy with that one. ShiauC wants to make another pick happen. This time he's hoping that a pick actually happens, but he's not going to find anything. 2,000 gold lead here for WE. We've mentioned how their biggest strength is when they get the lead in the early game. The last couple of games, eStar have been able to kind of match them toe for toe, and then it's been about a 20-minute fight. This time, though, WE are the ones with an early lead.
And this is regular season WE. This is what you want to see if you're a WE fan who wants them heading to the next round of playoffs. Gonna head to the top half of the map, gonna get a lot of plate gold while Morgan's covering in the mid lane. And this is great from WE.
Missing just doesn't even look at ShiauC there, doesn't even give him the time of day. In towards this top lane tower, hook actually onto Xiaobai. Missing, might have gone too far onto this one. Oh, nice stopwatch, stops the kick coming through. ShiauC is there. Oh, but the damage out of Aphelios is absolutely insane. Teacherma's in, and that's one going the way of Jiumeng. Another goes into Beishang's pocket.
Yeah, at first, eStar find the kill onto Missing, but still all the damage coming out from Aphelios was so massive they end up winning out in the long run. They're going to pick up another objective.
Jiumeng happy to finish that tower off. The plates are gone now as well. Wait, though. he's not done just yet. He wants to wait into this fight. Might find Jiumeng. Sonic Wave lands. Equalizer is there. Heal immediately. Nice little dash trying to bait it. But ultimately, they're just going to walk away.
Yeah, so only getting out the heal from Jiumeng. Still didn't give anything from that last play.
Just look at the turret plays. 1,120 gold to nothing. That is by far the biggest advantage we've seen so far this series.
You have Renekton in the top lane, setting him up early for success. Olaf in the jungle, very strong early dueling jungler. Galio going to constantly pressure in this mid lane, and again, we see Xiaobai find good CC, and Wei trying to go in for the kickback, gets locked down. They still find the kill, but all that Aphelios damage coming out. Teacherma flashing in and then landing the W, and they find the 2 kills.
He's going to land the W, and he's hoping for a W right here. So far, so good on their side of things. Now, they've expanded that gold lead to 3,000. He's got his Prota belt. He's moving towards Azonia's Hourglass as well. But a lot of this gold is actually going on towards Beishang. Now, when he plays his Echo, we see him as one of the big carries for this team. And on the Olaf, he's building damage.
Yeah, and he's going to start up the Rift Herald, which is what we wanted to see from WE in this moment. Going to be able to pick this up and head down towards the Dragon, so not actually lose out on anything on the map. Teacherma just pushed in the top wave, going to be able to recall and just start pathing there straight from base.
So second Herald going the way of WE once again now as they move towards that mid lane. They could just drop the Herald. Xiaobai in the bottom side of the map right now. Morgan going to be here, happily there to meet him. And we've got this Tiamat coming out from Morgan. This is what we've seen on the Renekton pick, going for a bit more of a split push role. But now they want to find a pick. Wei forced to use a control ward there just to get away.
And going back to your last point, the Tiamat is actually a lot more of a team pickup, just pushing that wave and constantly roaming over to be with your team. And now WE should feel great to just start up this fight, make eStar come into you, land that huge Galio ultimate.
Or just get Galio onto the backline to do a bunch of damage. He actually gets pushed into the fight by eStar. Knock up onto 2. Teacherma's in trouble here, and he will go down right at the very start of this fight. It's all on Jiumeng to do the damage. Missing. Goes wide on the hook, hits the wall, and now eStar, maybe they found the fight that they've been looking for. Morgan onto 2 of them, does a lot of damage himself, and Wei's in trouble. Beishang flashes for the kill and will cut him down with the axe. Now ShiauC stuck between a rock and a hard place, but he's going to pull 2 face first into one another. Haymaker across the team, but he trades his life for it. Xiaobai keeps himself safe with the volcanic rupture. Both teams with no jungler can't be confident in starting a dragon unless they can find more picks. Morgan flashes for his son onto Wink. It's beautiful from the top laner. Cryin desperately trying to escape, and they will let him go because they've got their eyes on the mountain train.
And Morgan making the big play at the end to secure the kill on Wink. That fight actually started off pretty confusing with, I'd say, Cryin giving a very lackluster equalizer onto only Teacherma. Still, they were able to keep it going. ShiauC was able to get into, they were able to get some kills, but like we just highlighted, great play from Morgan to finish it off.
Amazing stuff. And this is the Renekton we were talking about. It's his team fight present that really separates him from the crowd. We saw him 2v1 right at the start. Wei, you got to be careful on this one. Gravitum hovering onto him. Beishang just over the wall, but they're not going to need the smite here. They will secure this one.
Sole point for WE, and we've seen them run this comp again and again, and they're consistently finding these early game advantages that are needed to pick up the win. And we talk about the equalizer, very lackluster, call him the Forge God as well, but still able to find the kill onto Teacherma, but really having no DPS left other than Wink, and Wink is not that fed on this Varus. We see Morgan going in on the side. Beishang, great job aggressively flashing in to kill Wei. ShiauC, though, feeling bold himself, uses that W, picks up the kill on Beishang, and then keep your eyes on Morgan because this is where things start to get good. Lands the hook, lands the hook, but Morgan flashing in, getting that W, and they secure that last kill on Wink.
The damage from that combo, when you weave the Tiamat proc in there as well, it pretty much 100-0 Wink, and obviously Jiumeng there with Calibrum just to pop the kill off at the end. Just such great play, and you can see the proficiency on the Croc.
And speaking of the Croc, what I want to see is him push out that bot lane, walk towards mid. Teacherma head towards mid right now. They group up as 5, drop that Rift Herald, and get that mid tower.
And the biggest issue that we're going to see here from the side of eStar is this pace will not slow down. You're absolutely right. They're going to use this Rift Herald in the mid lane. They're going to crack this tower. They're going to extend their gold lead. And when WE get a lead, they do not let go.
And the thing is, in 3 minutes and 25 seconds, it's going to be hard for eStar to get it back in their favor. A lot of their, I called them pseudo frontliners, are actually going to become straight up frontliners with any resistances they buy and the big shield coming in for Mountain Soul.
Exactly, and Xiaobai, he just ain't tanky enough for these fights just yet, and we don't have the same issues of no magic damage on the side of WE, because Galio, while later on he'll struggle on the damage department, with a Proto Belt, with his combo, at this point in the game, he's still going to be a significant damage source.
Early mid-game Galio damage is still very respectable. Morgan as well on the Renekton going to be doing a ton of damage, as well as the Olaf. So right now, WE's comp is hitting their stride. And going back to your point about ShiauC, especially with this Omni Stone route, which gives you a lot more presence in making plays, you obviously aren't as tanky as you would be had you gone the Aftershock.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't even notice he was going Omni Stone.
We talked about this. You questioned me on this.
Did I?
You did. This series is going too long for you, my friend.
I'm on another page today, apparently. Oh, dear. Well, 2 minutes until that Mountain Drake. And we'll have to see... No, actually, no. I questioned you on Sett support. It was an umbrella question.
Oh, but I answered about Omni Stone. Well, I mean, I answered about Sett support as well, right? I talked about it holistically, but...
I'd already stopped listening at that point. Don't worry.
I gave you such kind words in the last game, and here you are. Disrespect.
Scumbag.
Where is hystericals?
Let's get back into this game, though, because we're getting excited here for WE. They have a significant lead, and they're in their comfort zone. 4,000 gold at 20 minutes. They got 3 Drakes and another one spawning in 1 minute and 40. But eStar are by no means out of the running just yet. This is a team that loves to scrap. This is a team that excels in the team fights, and they still have a really great combination of ultimates that they can use to their effectiveness.
Though it does feel really hard because we've set up how it would be nice going into this mid-game if the game was more even. They are about 4K gold behind. The damage coming out from the members of WE is still very relevant. So you're going to need a great equalizer onto Jiumeng with Wei finding the perfect pick, or ShiauC finding a great flank. So you really need the perfect execution coming out from eStar with WE maybe misstepping.
Ooh, I thought Xiaobai was in trouble there because the whole of WE was moving on over. Still had his Bellows Breath though, so...
Still has his turret munchables. He's a friend right behind him.
I don't think WE are that afraid of turrets right now.
I don't think so either, actually.
I'm pretty sure they're quite happy to go underneath turrets. I've seen WE play before, and they are not too nervous about that kind of play. Jiumeng are going to have infinite priority in this mid lane. There's no way eStar can come and check into him. 30 seconds until Mountain Drake.
We see WE have so much vision set up in eStar's blue side jungle, so eStar going to be walking in blind, and WE are going to have a ton of pick pressure coming in.
Missing, might be able to find ShiauC here. Just going to drop a ward, will be cleared out immediately here from the side of WE.
I like this path. Didn't walk straight to the bush, ran around from the side to get that ward at a very nice angle.
Yeah, nice stuff from him. Means that he can't be hooked by Missing.
We're here for the small details.
Yeah. It's got to be near the starts of these fights because that's the difference maker right there. Those kind of details. Because if he doesn't do that, he gets picked by Missing, he goes down, they lose the dragon, they lose the game.
Seems like the 2 core members we've been seeing consistently show up in these fights is Beishang and even Morgan on this Renekton, just getting in there and doing all the damage needed.
Worth mentioning though, Beishang is incredibly low before this fight, already down to less than half of his HP.
But
be a bit of an issue.
He's Olaf.
Exactly.
He's Olaf. He's fine. He walks away for maybe roughly 8 seconds, gets back to the fight. You're good to go another round.
Wei has his flash, though. He got denied by stopwatch earlier, but Teacherma wants to make the play. Flashes forward for the taunt. ShiauC trying to get on it. Equalizer is massive. Xiaobai desperately trying to finish off a kill here, missing over the wall. WE losing out this fight, and actually that might be the dragon going the way of eStar. The WE aren't done just yet. Oh, Missing some trouble. Doesn't follow the kick. He could have finished off the support, but they just want this dragon. They want to deny the soul right now, and they're going to do exactly that.
Yeah, great equalizer coming in from Cryin. Oh,
Morgan, he wanted to clear the ward. He thought we were going to go for a flank, but the rest of the team not on the same page. He's greedy enough to just stay for a wave while they're trying to chase him down.
He knows he has that slice and dice to get away if he needs, but I love it. eStar needed Cryin to show up with that equalizer. He did just that. WWE go into that choke point. They're punished, and eStar able to buy themselves some more time, get some more items under their belt, and we're finally starting to see these Ornn items come out.
Yeah, the Ornn items will come on through. You can see both on Xiaobai already. In it, you'd expect the next one to be going probably towards Wink with the Blade of the Rune King. And we'll see if eStar can keep this going, because they didn't actually finish off a kill there. They didn't finish off a pick, but it's important that they were just able to delay for the time being. They were able to stop this Mount Soul happening for another 4 minutes and buy themselves some time.
And that's what the name of the game right now is for eStar. It's all about buying time, getting to a late enough point where these members of WE don't deal the damage they're needed, and their comp becomes a lot harder to execute, solely relying on Jiumeng as the main damage dealer. So I want to say on the side of eStar, once it gets to these later stages of the game, Cryan's only reliable damage is going to be coming out from that equalizer as well, but still, you do have the Sett. The rest of his kit will be fine, but we're only talking about, you know, a matter of a bit more damage.
I mean, the late stages of the game, Teacherma, he's gone way too far forward here. He's going to be kicked back to the rest of his team. Goes golden, and actually TP from Morgan. They want to go for this fight. Teacherma will survive. And now the chase down. Beishang going to get the slow onto Xiaobai. He's tanky, but is he tanky enough? Equalizer deters the fight from Cryin.
Still, though, great job from WE. Oh, my God.
I don't know about that one, Chief. Way going to start this Baron off, but he's just going to be chunked on out. Xiaobai doesn't have his flash available. He's stuck at the back of the pit. He's just going to be whittled down by Baron. The rest of his team have to get in here, but Wei can't get in. Xiaobai's in so much trouble. There's nowhere he can go. He's got no jump available. Gets a knock-up, but will fall. Now they can push on towards the rest of the team. Beishang is here. Wei has to recall, and Jiumeng's Aphelios. They can start this at any moment. ShiauC has to contest. He has to try and get in here. 3v5 right now. Wei en route to the action, but Morgan's looking for a flank.
And eStar have no ultimates.
Oh, the WQ from Wink cuts down Beishang. Morgan in from the back line, but he's going to be exhausted and stopped from doing a lot of damage. ShiauC survives. Everybody backs away. Moonlight Vigil misses. Hook, though, onto Wei. They're trying to find something. They've got to find an answer here. Wei will jump away, gets knocked up. Flash from Jiumeng. He wants some more on this one. Cryin escapes. What a bloodbath.
I want to say, though, honestly, it's amazing that eStar even stopped them from doing that Baron. That Q was so clutch coming out from Wink. They had no ultimates up. Would be very easy for W to just turn or find that flank, but that kill was so crucial. Starting that off, though, what were Xiaobai and Wei even thinking?
I don't know, man. They were. I don't think they intended to go over that blast.
Are you? Okay, we need to see. We need to find out right now what happens. Oh,
he
my
misclicked it.
Cryin trolled so hard. Oh.
He was just right-clicking. He was just right-clicking past it, and he accidentally hit it.
Can you imagine if you lost the series based off that?
Imagine if they actually lose the Baron there.
Yeah, exactly. No, how you must be feeling for the like I don't even know how long, right? I'm losing words just thinking about being in that situation.
The hilarious thing is, Cryin just saved them with the equalizer. His equalizer stops them going down in the first place. And they're like, oh, thank you, man. Thank you for getting me to safety. He's like, ha ha ha, blast code.
I was going to say, maybe he's like,
you thought you'd escape.
This is what you guys get for making me waste my ultimate.
Oh, dear. Well, we've said right from the start that the match between these two teams is a battle of synergy, a battle of friendship, where both of these teams all about the team fight and all about grouping up early and playing as a squad. Cryin maybe showing there's a little bit of trouble in paradise on that side.
Hey, I just want to say, when you're really good friends with people, you mess with them a little bit, right?
Especially in playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, that shows that they just have a really, really strong bond.
They're just really great buddies. And I guess when you take it at game by game, you got to forget about the best of 5, right? When you go 2-0 down, you got to take it game by game. And if it's just a normal game, Then let's troll each other a little bit. Well, Dragon spawning. It's going to be Mountain Soul for WE. If they can secure this, keep your eyes on Morgan, though.
And for me, keep your eyes on Cryin's Equalizer. That has been the big game changer every fight for eStar.
Bear in mind that Wei has had the best of these Smite fights so far in this series. He's consistently stolen these Drakes away from Beishang. Dragon going to reset. Morgan trying to find a way into the fray, but Wei has been caught, and the damage is easily there. Now straight back onto the Baron. Equalizer across the team. In comes Galio, but the soul is there. The shields are there. WE are invincible, and it's a double for the Viking, as Cryin will be the last one to fall. Can't finish off missing, and Aphelios gets 2.
And WE are in a position to where they should be able to close out this series. Right now, just going to be looking towards this bottom lane inhibitor. And WE actually taking the objective slow, finding the pick they needed on Wei.
And the strength of this team is they're grouping together, they're skirmishing, they're fighting, and that's exactly what we see here in game number 4. They want to end the game.
Yeah, 20-second death timers. You would think they could do this. Much we didn't expect this result.
With the Mountain Soul, they can tank these towers all day long. ShiauC just going to try and clear the minions. They're going to play Protect the President with these minions, but ShiauC falls. Wei will fall as well, and that just about guarantees it. Morgan somehow survives with a stopwatch. The turrets are falling. WE will take this series 3-1 over eStar.
Off an insane performance from not only Beishang, Morgan, but the whole team stepping up in different games of the series. WE, what a convincing performance.
And what a way to end it as well. We said when they get control of the game, they do not let go. They see their opportunity and they just run it on home. Beautiful stuff.
I honestly didn't expect to be in this position when I woke up today, but WE doing such
I thought it would be a 3-0.
Okay, yeah, you did, but still. Point is, WE showed diversity. They pulled out different compositions, but also went back to something that was comfort when they needed it.
Exactly. As soon as they lose the game, they're like, all right, let's reset. Let's go back to what we know. And, I mean, it pays dividends for them. It worked beautifully, and it really felt like eStar, the longer this series went on, the more different things they had to ban away, and the less that they could focus on this specific composition, because the Galio was banned towards the start of the series.
Yeah, just very good job from WE, just kind of like playing that switcheroo, making eStar wonder, oh my god, what do we actually need to ban? We saw in that last game, they actually banned the Syndra, which isn't something you would expect coming out against WE, but great job by WE. Also consistently executing, I'd say, this very small window draft every time. They always win when they get this Galio composition.
Yeah, they look amazing on it, and I was actually getting a little bit worried for them during this game because it was slowing down a lot, and when the pace slows down for WE, that's when they really start to struggle. It's all about the snowball. It's about keeping it going throughout the game, keeping the lead that they find for themselves. And eStar, you have to say, in the late game team fighting, you got to favor them. But that didn't happen. They managed to find this dragon fight, really nicely played. And also, Jiumeng on this Aphelios looked really good during these fights. His ultimate's hitting onto just about everyone. The damage is obviously there. Yep. But once again, the whole team playing around protecting Jiumeng.
And especially that one around top lane when they were trying to take that turret, just hitting all the members on eStars, doing so much damage, allowing them to take those 2 kills under the turrets. And look right there, that tells the whole story.
Yeah, it's exactly what we were just saying. Everybody is playing Protect the President, if you will, and Jiumeng is there with all kinds of guns flinging around, just infernums across the board.
On the other side, though, very disappointing not only game, but feels like whole series coming out from Wink. He not only made a lot of positioning errors once we got past the laning phase, but just not able to get in and do the damage in these team fights.
Yeah, it felt like he was really struggling, but also that almost to be expected against a team like WE, where the fights do become quite often so chaotic when you've got this giant Renekton just diving onto Wink every single fight. And I mean, Morgan especially, in that last game where he goes for the play, manages to get the stun onto Wink after the fight is done. Really, really great stuff coming out from him. But I'm really excited for WE as an organization as well coming out of this series, because we were saying how coming into this split, they'd lost Mystic and Xie. They were the real identity for this squad, and it felt like this was a split of recovery, of trying to rebuild. They managed to make it into playoffs. They were literally the last, or the second to last series of the split decided their place in playoffs, and it feels like they really have found a new identity.
And the cool thing is, So last year, 2019 spring, they did make it into playoffs. They made it to
Yeah.
the first round, and they lost 1-3 to JDG. So they didn't get further than this point. This year, building around a completely new core, they get through, and now we're going to get to see them up against top esports.
That's going to be